After dropping out of Tak Renaud's lair at the bottom of the resort on Lanupa, the children argue over how to get back to their ship, the Onyx Cinder. Fern and Neil think the fastest way back would be to climb up the mountain that they just fell out of, but Wim and KB think they should seek help by following a group of seemingly benevolent trash crabs. And while I was surprised to see that Neil would choose to separate from Wim so easily, I wasn't surprised to see that KB and Fern would go their separate ways, given how badly their argument seemed to be. And that argument seems to stay with the kids even after they separate, as Neil has to remind the hard-changing Fern that not everyone can do the things the same way that she can. Thankfully, she does actually listen to Neil here, and even helps them with their ascent up the mountain. Meanwhile, the exposure to Lanupa's elements have corroded KB's augmentations, which is limiting her ability to speak or to even move. And this made for an incredibly tense sequence where KB needed to talk Wim through the process of forging the replacement part that she needed before she shuts down. Thankfully, Wim does manage to pull through with KB's replacement aug, and the two are able to continue looking for help. But I think this critical moment actually helped teach Wim a valuable lesson about being heroic, as heroes don't actively go around looking for trouble. He was there to help out a friend when she was in need, and that simple act of kindness ended up saving her life. That's what heroes do. So I'm glad that Wim was able to help KB, because I didn't even know that she had a health problem to begin with. I mean, I was beginning to think that her visor was purely an aesthetic choice of hers, but I turned out to be completely wrong about that. And that only tells me that I still have a lot to learn about these kids, which is a good thing because I do want to learn more about them. So, despite the fact that I have had issues about how the kids were written in the previous few episodes, I have to admit that this episode did a really good job of getting me to care about them. I mean, for the first time in the entire series, I was really invested in each and every one of their respective stories. So, even though the pressures of being on a real adventure have clearly taken a toll on these kids, and the cracks of their friendship were beginning to show, I'm glad that they were able to work out their problems here. Because after a daunting encounter with a giant crab, a daring leap of faith off of the mountainside, and a close call from being pinned down by a garbage machine, Fern, KB, Wim, and Neil are reunited with a deeper appreciation for each other. And I have to admit that that was really nice to see. Their reunion was just way more heartwarming than I was expecting it to be. And since KB revealed that she memorized Atton's coordinates from Tak Renaud's lair, the kids can finally make their way back home, all without Jod's help no less, meaning that the kids are literally coming of age right before our very eyes. But speaking of which, before he can make it out of Lanupa with all of Tak Renaud's loot, Jod is captured by Pocket and the other pirates. Brutus then quickly sentences him to be executed, but Jod manages to convince Brutus to let him live after revealing that he knows the location of the fabled Atton. And I firmly believe that these disgruntled pirates would believe Jod's claim, since the stirring speech that he gave made me want to put my trust in him. But what can I say? Jude Law is just one hell of a charming guy. But with Jude Law's character being separated from the kids, the children really got the chance to shine in this episode. And I really enjoyed that aspect of the episode, since it gave me the chance to connect with the children in a way that I never thought I was going to. So Lucasfilm needs to give Bryce Dallas Howard her own feature film already, because she has proven to be be one hell of a director. I mean, some of the best episodes that Star Wars television has to offer have been directed by her, and this one is no different. So if Kathleen Kennedy doesn't give her a promotion at Lucasfilm, then some other studio should definitely be talking to her, because Howard ended up directing my new favorite episode of the series thus far. And since I've basically been saying that each and every week, I think that only proves that Skeleton Crew has gotten better and better with each and every episode. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what'll happen on the next episode of Skeleton Crew once it gets released on Tuesday.